Hi, beautiful souls. I'm laquannadivine. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back to the channel. If you're new, be sure to subscribe. Make sure you hit the like button, leave a comment, and let me know what you think about the reading. But what I'm here to provide for you all today is what major changes are coming your way? Pick a card. So I have 3 different piles here. Pile 1 is the opalite or opal. Pile number 2 is going to be the angelite. And pile number 3 is going to be the green aventine. And I have a little deck just for the major arcanas in the tarot. I'm going to use this to see what major changes are coming. And then I'm going to go into my Black Moon astrology deck and I'm going to get more information on that. So, you already know what I do here is I ring my singing bell. I give you all the chance, to take a beautiful deep breath in, to center yourself and see which crystal is calling to you. So on the count of 3, take a nice, beautiful deep breath in. 1, 2, and 3. I'm recording this reading on the Aquarius new moon, so I decided to go ahead and do a pick a card on what major changes are coming your way. So, with all of that being said, I'm going to move these other crystals out the way. And if you chose opal, we're going to see what major changes are coming your way. I'm going to start with my deck that I made. Let's make sure everything is all right. So, divine source, heavenly angels, benevolent spirit guides, and ancestors, what major changes can pile 1 expect to come their way? What major changes can pile 1 expect? All right, let's see here. We have the Emperor and the Lovers. Oh my goodness. So pile number 1. The Emperor is someone who is very stable. All right. So you could be looking to do something that's going to bring stability in your life, whether that is making sure you finally, jot down some things that you need for certain plans that you're making. Or it could be, oh, well, I already finished this step in my plan. So now let's see what I need to move on to step number 2. Okay, so the Emperor is someone who's definitely organized. So in some way, shape, or form, my pile number 1 is definitely getting organized. Or, if you're not already getting organized, this is something that these are the changes that you can expect. Also, the Emperor also represents fatherhood. So what some of you might not expect, to my fellas out there, is that you could definitely hear the news that your girl is pregnant. I've been picking up on a lot of pregnancies lately, so I'm not surprised to see that. So you could definitely be hearing news that your girl is pregnant, or possibly someone in your family is pregnant. Also, what I'm getting as well with the Emperor showing up is also mending relationships with your parents as well. Now, the Emperor particularly speaks of the father, but we do have some ladies who are in their masculine energy. So this could be a son, reconciling with his mother, or a daughter reconciling with her father. Either way it goes, I do see that here as well. So that's another major change that I see. I also see for my pile number ones, you rising up to a position, some type of position of authority, whether that's on the job or in business or even at home. Like I said, the Emperor does represent fatherhood and things, so it could be as well. Or some of my ladies could be seeing your significant other, your partner, really, really stepping up in places that you've been praying for. I do see that for some of you. That your partner is stepping up in certain places that you could have been, praying for. So that's a good thing. Now you got two cards. You also got the Lovers. And so with the Emperor coming out with the Lovers, this is a relationship, The Lovers definitely speaks of, kindred spirits and unions rising and getting to a place of balance and equal give and take. And, so I definitely do see here for my pile number one, the major changes that you can expect in your life is balance when it comes to your romantic relationship. Feeling like you and your partner are on the same page. Feeling like you and your partner are equally yoked, This could also mean for my pile number ones that you may meet someone that you feel like is equally yoked. Like I said, you could have been praying, for a partner, and now you've met someone that you feel is equally yoked to you. So that's beautiful as well. Let me see what else I get. More, what I'm getting is like organization. Getting organized. Really, really factoring in what it is that you want in life and just going for it. That's what I get for my pile number one. But I am going to get out my other deck and get some more information on that. So, but what I feel for the most part, even if it's not dealing with romance, I do feel that my pile number ones are getting organized in your life, which is going to bring about major changes. All right. There are some things that you've been praying about, and it's like you're finally taking the actions or taking the necessary steps that you need to take. The Emperor is organized, it's structure there. So those are the major changes for my pile number one that I see coming. I see you getting organized, getting things and documents and things together that you need, or just maybe if it's simply just finally really, really cleaning up your closet, or straightening an area in your home that you feel like was cluttered and things like that. I see this structure that's coming upon in your life that's going to open up new doors for you. All right, even if it's, like I said, something simple. These simple changes that you're making are going to bring about the bigger changes. So I see someone definitely rising up in a position on their job. I see someone being responsible. Like I said, with the Lovers here, for some of you who pick pile number one, it could be certain areas in your relationship that you feel like, okay, your partner could be better at. And maybe you guys have been working, on those things, And now you see your partner is doing better in those areas. Or it could be reverse. Your partner could be saying like, dang, you know what? I did ask, her to do X, Y, Z. And now I really see that she's doing X, Y, Z. You know what? I did ask him to do X, Y, Z. And now I really see that he is doing X, Y, Z. So I do see, just happiness in your life where there may have been a challenge. I do see that wherever there was a challenge at, things are getting in order. Things are becoming more structured. And now it's going to bring about changes. And for my singles, you may have not been sure of what you wanted. And now you're finally sure of what you want. And you could have possibly went in. I always talk about this all the time. You could have possibly went within to, finally figure out what it is within you that had you attracting certain partners, and now you've made certain changes which brought about huge changes. So for my pile number 1, I see some of you definitely rising up in positions. I see you getting organized, getting structure in your life. I feel that people are feeling like you're very dependable. And through those changes has opened the door for my single people, those who out there who are looking for, a partner to build with, a solid foundation with. I see that coming for you. So let's see what else we get. What else, Spirit, do you have for my pile number 1? Look at that. Look at that. Under the deck, we have North Node. So again, the major changes that I see happening for you, you know what? The North Node the North Node for the collective is now in Taurus. The South Node is in Scorpio. So that would be something as well for you all to check to see what house that the North Node in Taurus is transiting in your chart. That's probably important for you guys as well, because the North Node, it talks about what direction you're headed to. It's like you're leaving the past behind, or you're surmounting over maybe behavioral patterns and things that you have had. You're getting a clear understanding of, man, like I can't do that no more, because when I do that, it leads to this. Or you know what? Instead of me not doing that, I need to do that, because by me not doing this, it led me to this. And I could see now if I take action toward this, then it's going to bring me a desired outcome. So I definitely see you guys, whatever way, shape, or form you need to get disciplined in your life or structure, I see that happening for you, which is going to bring about the changes you've been wanting. Okay, you're going towards your soul's destiny, your reason for incarnating on earth. So let's see what came out for you. Look at that. Look at that. Freaking solar eclipse, man. I cannot make this up. Major, major, beautiful changes. We have revolution. Oh my gosh, why am I hearing Aaliyah? I'm hearing Aaliyah resolution, which is what I was saying. We need a resolution. We need a revolution. Y'all know, whatever she say. But yes, that's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing Aaliyah. Okay? So again, for those of you who may have been struggling, or your partner may have been struggling with something, now you're seeing the changes that they're making. And this is making you happy. But let me go into this guidebook and see what all we get for my pile number 1. And that's funny, because literally I'm recording this on the Aquarius new moon, and we have the solar eclipse, which solar eclipses can occur on new moon. So this is wonderful. All right. So it says, when the solar eclipse card turns up in a reading, you can expect swift changes that end one chapter and start a new chapter. And this is what I was talking about the North Node being underneath the deck. Okay? Going towards your North Node, you no longer operate in your South Node tendencies. Okay? Your South Node tendencies usually begin to dwindle away around age 30. So from baby stage to toddler stage to adolescent stage to teenage stage, you're mostly in your South Node. And your South Node is all the things that you learned in your past life, all the things that you've already accomplished, and certain talents that you gathered over lifetimes and things, So you're mostly in that. But then when you get to your 30s, that's when that North Node gets to knocking. For some people, it comes before that. But that north node gets to knocking, and it's like major changes will take place. Some of these changes you may feel like, oh my God, it's bad. Why is this happening? And why is that happening in my life? And it's really because it's for you to get a move on towards what you're meant to do in this lifetime, what you came to the earth plane to do, you know? So the solar eclipse card is just talking about like swift changes that happen in order for you to start a new chapter. Sometimes God will just thrust you or cause certain things to happen. And like I said, you feel like, oh my God, why is this happening? This happened, that happened. But then you realize after, right? Like after you come out of that, you like, dang, you know what? I'm glad I did go through that. Because if I went through that, I wouldn't have had XYZ, which goes back to what I was saying earlier when I was like, it could be some changes that you haven't been making. And you need to make them. And so you finally make them. Or with this card coming up, you're forced to make them. God causes something to happen. And then now you're forced to make this change. And you thought it was bad while you was going through it. But once you get to the other side, you realize, man, like I needed to go through that, you know? So that's really what the solar eclipse card is saying as well. So it says, when the solar eclipse card turns up in a reading, you can expect swift changes that end one chapter and start a new one. You may have felt something would eventually happen. Not having recently paid much attention to the situation, then you're presented with a shock or a jolt, and you're reeling over the sudden change. This upheaval takes away what has been familiar and safe, which goes back to the South Node. Okay, the South Node deals with what's familiar, what's safe. But the North Node, that is uncharted territory. Your soul has never went towards this direction. All right, so for some of you, this is involving your destiny. This is involving, you know, possibly a complete change of your circle. It may be people that you're no longer in contact with, and God made that happen. You know, it may be a sudden, now you're fired on the job, and now you're trying to figure out what you're going to do, but then it thrust you into what you're supposed to be doing. You know, for many of you, this is a general reading, so it could be many things, but just to throw that out there, there's definitely some major changes coming from my pile number one. This upheaval takes away from what has been familiar and safe, so you can embark on new territories or even venture to a strange new terrain. But it will be daunting. These events may seem like negatives at first. For example, a divorce, the end to a relationship, being forced to move, or even losing your job. Eclipses tend to affect relationships foremost, and that's what I was saying about changes in your relationship. Now, the Lovers, it talks about, you know, a relationship that's equal give and take, you know, kindred spirits. You just feel amazing, you know, with this person. So for some of my pal number one, you could have just recently gone through a breakup, or you're going to go through a breakup. And then this breakup was something that was bound to happen with the solar eclipse. And then you run into that person, you know. You stop certain behavior. It goes back to what I was saying earlier. You stop certain behavior, or you stop looking for this type of girl. You stop looking for this type of guy. And you try something new. And by you trying something new, you know, you meet your soulmate, you know. So eclipses tend to affect relationships foremost. However, and so you may soon see stressors and upsetting changes in the relational supports you have counted on. For whatever reason, these may be taken away, either for the time being, but perhaps permanently. So the one thing you can count on is that your life will go through a complete rearrangement of sorts. The energies are saying that it is necessary to be cruel before being kind. Uh-oh. So I feel like for some of my pile number one, some of y'all definitely have been going along with certain things within certain relationships. And Spirit is like, no, that's not okay. We're not going along with that. We're not doing that. So for some of you, it may be a breakup. The major change could definitely be a breakup. Or for some of you, you may have already experienced this. This is a timeless reading. So you may have already experienced this. But a breakup of some sort. But eclipses are not always about the downside. Instead, you may find yourself having to dive in, change something, fix something, or create something you hadn't really thought of, but will work out brilliantly. That ends up transforming your life all the ways you hoped for, maybe beyond your wildest imaginations. All in all, when the solar eclipse card turns up, it implies you are being forced to make a decision, to act on it. And that's where the Emperor is at. There's something to do with discipline or structure or stability in your life. Those are the major changes, all right, that are taking place for some of you. For some of you, this has something to do with your structure, stability, and things like that. For others of you, this has to do with your relationship, or it could be your relationships that you're questioning that may have been a faulty foundation, and now that foundation is coming down so that you all can build a new one together or separately. There will be no stepping away from it. Even though you may not have been consciously aware of just how much certain issues were not working, it's time to look ahead and finally resolve what has held you back. Now it is time to begin anew and start that new chapter in the book of life. Yep. So there's definitely going to be some habits that are being broken. There may be a complete change, that happens in your life. You may thought you was going in one direction, and now all of a sudden you're going in another direction, Like I said, breaking old patterns and things like that. But I want to get a closing message for you all. Spirit, what closing message do you have for my pile number 1 before we move on to pile number 2? You have free yourself of guilt and shame. It's the porcupine. And that guilt and shame might have to do with the changes that you're realizing you need to make, Or it could be from a mistake that some of you have made, But Spirit is like, don't beat yourself up about it, all right? Why do I hear somebody saying, duh? Like you literally hit yourself on the head and say, duh. Duh. Maybe it's something that has been there all along, and you haven't been paying attention, and suddenly you have like a aha moment. Or it could be this guilt and this shame that some of you may be carrying, and Spirit's like, no, let that go. Let it go. We're all humans. We make mistakes. Tell me who you seen that's perfect in your life. Tell me. When you meet the perfect human being, holler at me, because I ain't met one yet. All right? So Spirit is like, let go of guilt and shame that you may be carrying. All right? And remember your innocence. All right? So that's what I'm getting from my pile number 1. Thank you so much for tuning in. And make sure you hit that like button and leave a comment down. Let me know how everything resonated with you. Peace, love, and light. And I'm going to move on to my pile number 2. Pile number 2. If you chose Angelite, we're going to get ready to see what major changes are coming into your life. Divine Source, Heavenly Angels, Benevolent Spirit Guides, and Ancestors, what major changes are coming into my pile number 2's life? What major changes are coming into my pile number 2's life? Are you freaking kidding me? The same ones? Some of you may have been drawn to pile number 1, but literally it's the same 2 major changes that are coming. So again, For you though, I'm getting something a little different. For you with this Lover's card, this is spiritual. This is spiritual. This is you really getting in tune with your higher self. Some of you could have been wondering, like, you could be trying to build a stronger connection with your spirit guides. And those are the major changes that are coming. For you, this is spiritual, all right? This is an inner spiritual transformation that is going to allow you to rise up to this authority figure that you're meant to. Oh, also, I'm also getting something here with a grandfather as well. For some of you, your grandfather has passed away. And he has been trying to get your attention. Definitely a grandfather trying to get your attention. Music and food. I'm hearing music and food. For some of you, your grandfather loved baseball. He could have taken you to baseball games when he was alive. The 76ers. The 76ers. Is that a wait a minute. 76ers. I'm not into sports, so I gotta look this up, y'all. Red Sox. 76ers. Red Sox. Hold on, y'all. Let me make sure that I'm calling out the right games. Okay, the 76ers, that's basketball. Alright. So someone's grandfather likes the 76ers, and someone's other grandfather likes the Red Sox. We have a grandfather here that likes the 76ers, and then we have a grandfather here that likes the Red Sox. So we have one that likes basketball, and we have one that likes baseball. All right. Sorry, you guys. Still Mercury retrograde. Communication can be a little off. But that's what I'm getting. Okay, because at the bottom of the deck is the Strength card. So some of you may have just recently lost a grandfather. Somebody lost a grandfather to cancer. Someone's grandfather is battling cancer right now. These are the major changes for my pile number 2. Your grandfather's transition to the other side is causing a spiritual awakening in your life. I hear spiritual father as well. Someone in this group calls someone their spiritual father. You may be getting advice from your spiritual father. But my pile number 2, I got these same 2 cards, but I'm getting a different energy. I got these same 2 cards for pile number 1, but I'm getting a different energy. This is more of a spiritual. I also hear your rank, your spiritual rank. You've passed some kind of test, and now you're going up in rank, in your spiritual rank. I'm getting that message again about the Red Sox. someone's grandfather is really, really wanting to remind them of the Red Sox. It could be a jersey, all right, that you have of his that he left. All right, Spirit, what else for my pile number 2? What major changes? So the major changes for you, my pile number 2, is that you're definitely growing spiritually, all right? By you growing spiritually, this is going to allow you to, when you grow spiritually, it shows on the outside. So the major changes that are coming are going to happen spiritually first and then physically for my pile number 2. Okay, you could also be a medium as well. Okay, you may hear spirits, see spirits, feel spirits. But I feel a lot of spiritual energy here with my pile number 2 for it to be the same 2 cards. Under the deck, we have Virgo. I analyzed your grandfather could have been a Virgo. Some of you may be a Virgo. You could have a Virgo moon, Virgo rising. You may have a lot of 6th house placement. All right. Also, I'm getting health as well. Spiritual health, mental health, and physical health. All 3. Mind, body, and spirit. What do we have here? We have Mercury retrograde. And I literally just said to y'all, Mercury retrograde can have, the communication off a little bit. So let's see what Mercury retrograde, because it's speaking of reinventing yourself. And I just talked about your health. I said your mental, your spiritual, and your physical health. So let's get into that. Okay, when this card comes up in a reading, back up all of your equipment, your computers, your cell phone numbers, and your address book, and anything to do with technology or mechanics. Electrical appliances purchased at this time may end up needing to be returned. Any sales item will often turn out to be a massive dud. Don't make the mistake of purchasing a vehicle at this time either. If you are to have your vehicle repaired, expect making another visit to the shop to have something revised or corrected. And that's what I'm saying about the feeling that I'm getting for the major changes for y'all. When you're going through an awakening or when you're growing spiritually, it can cause you to go back and think back over your life and think about the cycles that you have gone through. And think about the type of people that you may have used to hang out with, the type of stuff you used to do, the way you used to think. And you sit there like, what? I used to think like that? What? I used to be like that? Like, man, I'm so glad I've grown. I'm so glad that I'm acting like a grown man. I'm so glad I'm acting like a grown woman because, boy, those ways were childish. All right? So the major changes that are coming your way, you're going to see how you've grown spiritually. It may have been things that triggered you. And now those things come up and they don't trigger you anymore. And you could be sitting back thinking like, man, I remember when somebody would say this, it would trigger me. I'll be ready to fight. Or I remember when, such and such used to get under my skin. I couldn't even stand to be around them. And, these are the major changes with this spiritual growth that's going on with my pile number 2. That's your feeling. All right, so let's get back into it. It says, how long will this period last? When the Mercury retrograde card comes up, give the matter 1 week and then ask the same question after that week. You will want to carefully go over any contract you sign and check any email or letter you send. If you are about to leave on a trip, leave early because you must expect unusual delays to occur. And make sure you have clothing for all types of weather because the temperature and conditions are likely to change. Now let me it's funny because before I did this reading, I was on my phone and the little Yahoo News or whatever popped up, and it was talking about how I think that was JFK airport. There was like a whole bunch of flights that got delayed. Now I'm recording this reading. Mercury is still in retrograde. So it's so crazy how this card showed up for my pile number 2. And the thing about Mercury retrograde, it is a time to go inward. You know, it isn't really a time to like start anything new or, you know, like they said, go and buying stuff, because it's a possibility that, you know, it could be something wrong with the item, or if you go buy a car, you know, it could be something wrong with the car, or if you go to the mechanic, like it was saying, you may have to take your car right back, you know. So it's something how these same 2 cards comes up for my pile number 2 for your major changes, but with a whole different spin and a whole different theme of what's going on for you all. So with Mercury retrograde, it definitely is a time of going within and revising and rethinking and the whole nine. So it says, mundane matters aside, retrograde planets are said to be more empathetic. And that means that strangely, we are more silently and internally keyed into their energies. This causes unusual and fated meetings and occurrences to happen. You may meet up with someone you haven't seen in years at a most unexpected place. You may have a conversation with someone with whom you only have a superficial relationship with, when suddenly you connect to that person, causing a much deeper rapport. If you're asking about the strengthening of a relationship, this is not a good time to get married. And see, this is what I was saying. I seen these 2 cards, but I didn't really feel, you know, a romance vibe like I did for my pile number 1. For this particular pile with these 2 energies, I feel, again, a more internal, spiritual type of work going on, type of discipline going on. So the major changes that are taking place for my pile number 2 is definitely a very, very spiritually transforming time in your life. Okay, where you are taking the necessary steps, where you are disciplined enough to do what it is you feel you need to do spiritually to evolve. And again, Mercury retrograde, going within. So it says it's not a good time to get married, but it is an excellent time to renew your vows. So if you're already married, okay, coming in with the Lovers, if you're already married, maybe you've been thinking about renewing your vows. So that could be something as well, okay? It also says it's not a good time to initiate a divorce or end a relationship, though, considering how soon Mercury moves forward again. Because if you do, then the relationship will soon move forward again too. Okay? If you are feeling hopeless and worried that a relationship is never going to work, the Mercury retrograde card is actually a good one to turn up in a reading. It means there's more than what you know about the situation at the current time, and that the possibility of the relationship getting on its leg and moving ahead is very likely. It is also a fortuitous time to connect with a lover from the past. It is a time to revise, reinvent, and renew. Exactly. And that's what I was saying earlier. So let me get one more card out for you guys. Spirit, what closing message do you have for my pile number 2 for the major changes that are taking place in their life? Okay, we have discernment. All right, so you know Mercury retrograde, it brings old friends and old lovers back around. So Spirit is asking for you to use your discernment. And another thing is, I feel like with this being my pal that's more focused on spiritual matters, this is something that I feel is heightened in your life, or the changes that you're going through are going to bring about major strengths when it comes to your discernment. So your discernment is going to be on point. It says, look beyond immediate appearances with the links. So definitely, I feel like your discernment is going to be very, very on point. And you're going to know by the time Mercury goes direct. Because like I said, it's so crazy that the Mercury retrograde card comes up. And it's literally still Mercury retrograde as I record this reading. So, I think Mercury is going to go direct on February 3rd or the 4th. Definitely check that out before you disagree with what I just said. Because I'm saying I think. So double check that. But yeah, I think Mercury is going to go direct on the 3rd or the 4th of February. So kind of check to see what the energy is like around that time. But definitely and then we have retreat at the bottom. Stop trying to make something happen. All right, so that's what I was saying about like just spiritual growth. When you're growing spiritually, you learn to just flow with the universe. You learn to flow with God because everything happens in divine timing. So, with all that being said, pile number 2, that is your message that I have for the major changes that are coming your way. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like button. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. And I'm going to move on to my pile number 3. All right. If you chose pile number 3, you chose the green Aventine. We're going to see what major changes are coming your way. What major changes? Okay. Oh, come on. We have the Hierophant and we have the Devil. Oh, man. This really, really... You know what? This is another reoccurring thing that Spirit been wanting me to speak on as well. It's been a lot of talk about addictions, your mental health. For my pile number 3, with the Hierophant here, this is letting me know that my pile number 3, and again, this is a general message, but I have to speak on what I see here, because addiction, depression, and mental health issues have been coming up a lot for me. And the major changes for my pile number 3, whether you're the person that's dealing with this or someone in your family, your partner, okay, this could be anyone around you that may be dealing with this. But the major changes that I see coming your way is no more depression. Okay, if you have mental health issues, you're going to speak to a counselor about that. You're going to see who you need to see to get your mental health in check. Instead of holding things in, you're speaking to people now. Or if you're not doing this, this is what Spirit is urging for you to do so that major changes can take place in your life. Also, we have cheating. All right. So the Hierophant, that represents marriage. That's been coming up a lot as well in my readings. Dealing with cheating, finding out your partner is cheating on you. You could also be realizing as well how much you're dependent upon someone in your life at this time. Also, the Devil deals with materialism. Okay, so you could be realizing, wow, you know what? I'm the type of person that will do anything for money. All money ain't good money. You know, the devil, for the devil to show up, this is Spirit. Oh, man. Then we have assault. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Pile number 3. Someone, don't go to jail for putting your hands on people. because I see that someone has been in a very, very tumultuous relationship. There's been cheating. There's been drugs. There's been doing whatever for money. Prostitution, I've been picking up on that. You know, having sex with women, having sex with men for money. And some of you don't even see it as prostitution. It's been a lot of deaths behind people wanting to be influencers, Instagram models. It's been so many deaths behind people using their body for money. There is structure in my pile number 3. Structure has been a recurring theme for the major changes, but we have the Hierophant here. This is someone who is ready to clean up their life. This is someone who is tired of living the way they've been living. This person wants marriage. This person wants, if you don't want marriage, you want a committed relationship. Okay? I see someone yearning to get out of the grips of the devil. There's choices that you have been making from your lower self that have caused you to be in certain situations. I see that changing for you because you want it. See, before, other people wanted it for you. Other people wanted these changes for you, but you were not ready. You wasn't worn out enough. You wasn't tired enough to make these changes that other people was talking to you about to make. But now, there has been some significant change in your life. There has been some kind of wake-up call in your life that has caused you to want to make these changes. No more alcohol abuse. No more drug abuse. No more pharmaceutical. I find that more people are addicted to pharmaceuticals and over-the-counter drugs that you can just go to Walmart and get, to the corner store and get. I have been finding that there's more people addicted to pharmaceuticals and over-the-counter drugs than it is street drugs. And please, 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 with this cocaine laced with fentanyl. Man. It's just so much with this devil card, because the devil card, it speaks of the addiction, depression, mental health issues, things being done in secret, being obsessed with something or someone, people cheating, being dependent, okay, being in some type of bondage, materialism, sexuality, doing things for money, doing things you know you wouldn't do, okay, feeling like your power has been taken away, feeling powerless, feeling like you don't have no hope, dealing with mental, physical, and emotional abuse, being in violent situations, okay? But it's paired with the Hierophant. The Hierophant speaks of having value, okay? When you're giving yourself away for sex, giving your body away for sex, you don't value yourself, because you wouldn't give your body away for money. You wouldn't just sleep with anyone. Okay? The Hierophant speaks of beliefs. So for my pile number 3, your beliefs are changing. How you feel about yourself is changing. The desires that you have are changing. No more bondage. No more mental bondage. No more physical bondage. You're making different decisions. And at the bottom of the deck, we do have the Strength card. So let me get some further messages. Divine Source, Heavenly Angels, Benevolent Spirit Guides, and Ancestors. What else do you have for my pile number 3? I really, really feel that some of my pile 3 is sick and tired of being sick and tired. We have third house. We have messages. And at the bottom, we have our hat. I have. Now, Taurus, the key word is I have. Taurus rules the second house, which is the house of value. It's the house of value. Spirit wants you to value yourself more than to stay in a relationship where you're being mentally and physically abused, where they're not providing emotional support in the way that you need it. Spirit is wanting you to value yourself more. You're worthy. You're worthy of life. You're worthy of your story being told. I keep picking up on this as well. Someone has a story to tell. Your story can change other people's lives. When you get yourself clean, when you get off of them streets, when you stop lying, stealing, and whatever it is, to the people that I'm talking to in this pile, your life is going to change. God has got you. Look at the Hierophant. God has got you. But God wants you to have you first. You have to be sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I feel like I'm speaking to people who are sick and tired of being sick and tired. Whether it's relationships, whether it's toxic relationships, whether it's fighting depression, whether it's mental abuse, whatever it is for you all on an individual basis, I feel like you're tired of being sick and tired. And you're ready to value yourself more. You're ready to make the changes that you need to make in your life. Now, let's go into the third house card. It could be something going on with your siblings. Okay, so if this isn't you, this can definitely be a sibling of yours. All right, because the third house represents communication. It represents your siblings. All right. Let me get into this. You could be into the Kemetic sciences. All right. You could be drawn to ancient Egyptian artifacts and things. But the major changes that are taking place in your life is you. You are taking action. And you are no longer settling or no longer allowing certain addictions to rule you. You're going to get a hold of this thing. 27. Because God wants to use you. I don't know if you all go to church, but you could be deciding that you're going to church now. You could be deciding that you're joining some kind of spiritual community. Excuse me, y'all. I gotta. It's funny because the messages card is coming out and I'm getting messages. All right, so let me get into that. It also, the third house also represents neighbors as well. So some of you may have been dealing with some neighbors who just cause ruckus. You know, they're always fighting. There's always traffic in and out their house. There's always something going on. And you could have been getting sick and tired of these neighbors with all this foolishness going on. And now, you know, one of them goes to jail. The other one goes to rehab. There's something here with these major changes that I'm feeling that involve bondage. The chains are broken. The chains are broken in whatever way. Okay. Let me see where I want to start at with the explanation. All right. The third house is the area of the astrological chart that reveals how we think, speak, and communicate. Now, I just named off a whole bunch of things that involve your mental health, what you're thinking about, okay, what you're saying to people, toxic relationships, things of that such. So it signifies how we think, speak, and communicate. It signifies our need to know and demonstrate how we put our concepts and thoughts into words. You are in search of answers and in need of unlocking mysteries, but your mind is agile and you are able to grasp every detail right now. You may wish to express this mental suppleness through writing, speaking, and researching subject matter which has always intrigued you. Libraries call to you. You may suddenly wake up with an idea that can turn out to be very lucrative. You may even be toying, oh my gosh, oh my goodness. That's it. The major changes that are coming into your life is that some of you are meant to write a book about your story. You're going to change lives. I keep getting this message. I don't know what group of people I'm talking to, but who this resonates with, you're going to change lives. I don't care where you're coming from. I don't care what you did. You're going to change lives. So you may be toying with the idea of writing a book, starting a blog, perhaps a screenplay, or a position at a local news media outlet. There couldn't be a better time than now. As well as dreamy or imaginative writing and poetry, the third house also represents dexterity, swiftness, curiosity, and figuring out the mechanisms of what makes things work. So this could mean expressing yourself about something rather technical. The third house, more than any other, is the house of the mind. Mercury is about giving and receiving information. When this card turns up in a reading, there is a need to uncover all that you can and relate the information to others. I just said that. I literally just said. Some of you who are going through this, some of you who are breaking the bondage, breaking the chains of addiction, depression, being obsessed with someone or something, those of you who are breaking the chains of being over concerned with money, prostitution, doing whatever it is you can to get money, whether that's being a stripper. I don't knock nobody hustle. I don't knock what nobody does. Okay, but all money ain't good money. Some money comes with a headache. Some money comes with stress. Some money comes by nefarious means. And those of you who are sick and tired, the people that I'm talking to, who this message is for, those of you who are in this pile, who are sick and tired, you're going to change the world by sharing your story. You're going to learn something and you're going to share it with others. You're going to learn something and you're going to share that same information with others who are coming from where you're coming from. Also, an area of commerce and sales. When the third house card and sales, okay, I was just talking about that. This could be drug addiction. This could be addicted to selling drugs. This could be anything. Oh my goodness, Spirit, come on. When the third house card presents itself in a reading, it can indicate a time of buying and selling and becoming involved in retail or transactions made over the internet. This could also involve scheming as well. Issues dealing with siblings may come up. There may be questions you must resolve to do with brothers or sisters. Your neighborhood may even be going through some changes. The third house also signifies your neighborhood, so expect events that will make a difference there. For more in-depth information, look at the surrounding cards. Blah, blah, blah. It could talk about vandalism in your neighborhood. It could be burglaries in your neighborhood. Maybe you was the one doing the burglaries. Maybe you was the one going around. This is my power of transformation.